She accidentally texted a billionaire thinking he was her landlord, begging for one more week to pay rent. He showed up at her door at midnight with an envelope. What was inside changed everything. If you want a story about a desperate single mother, a chance mistake, and the billionaire who decided she was worth more than money could buy, hit that subscribe button right now. Because Victoria Williams is about to discover that sometimes the wrong number is exactly the right one. Victoria Williams was 26 years old and drowning. Not the dramatic kind of drowning you see in movies. The slow grinding kind. The kind where you're juggling 3 part-time jobs, raising a 4-year-old daughter alone, and eating cereal for dinner so your kid can have actual meals. The kind where your phone has 17 missed calls from debt collectors, and you've memorized which grocery stores have the best day-old bread sales. Tonight was worse than usual. It was the 28th. Rent was due on the 1st. Victoria had $342 in her account. Rent was $900. Her daughter Emma had a fever. The electricity bill was overdue. And Victoria's car was making a sound that definitely meant expensive repairs she couldn't afford. She sat on her apartment floor after putting Emma to bed. The cheap linoleum was cracked. The walls were thin enough to hear her neighbors fighting. But it was home. For now. If she could just get Mr. Peterson to give her another week. Just one more week. Her paycheck from the diner came on the 8th. She could make it work. Victoria pulled out her phone. Found Mr. Peterson's contact. Her landlord was a grumpy old man who smelled like cigars and had zero sympathy for single mothers, but maybe if she explained. Maybe if she begged. Maybe. Her hands shook as she typed. Mr. Peterson, this is Victoria from apartment 3B. I know rent is due soon and I'm so sorry but I'm short this month. Emma's been sick and I had to take her to urgent care and the copay wiped out what I'd saved. I get paid on the 8th. Please. Just one more week. I promise I'll pay everything. I've never been late before. Please. She hit send before she could overthink it. Before shame could stop her. Then she put her head in her hands and tried not to cry because crying was a luxury she couldn't afford. Crying didn't pay bills. Didn't feed Emma. Didn't keep the lights on. Her phone buzzed. Fast. Too fast for Mr. Peterson, who usually took hours to respond. Who is this? Victoria's stomach dropped. Wrong number. Oh God, she'd sent that humiliating message to a wrong number. She checked the contact. The number was right. But this wasn't Mr. Peterson's usual gruff response. I'm so sorry, she typed quickly. I thought this was my landlord. Please disregard. Wrong number. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. How much do you need? Victoria stared at her phone. What kind of question was that? Who asks that to a wrong number? I'm sorry, who is this? She typed. Someone who can help. How much? This was weird. Definitely weird. Maybe dangerous. Victoria should block the number. Delete the conversation. Forget it happened. But $900. One more week. Emma's fever. The electric bill. That sound the car was making. $600 would get me through the week. She typed before she could stop herself. But seriously, I'm sorry for bothering you. Wrong number. Have a good night. She was about to put the phone down when it rang. An actual call. From that number. At 11:30 at night. Victoria answered without thinking. Hello. Victoria. The voice was male. Deep. Rich in a way that suggested private schools and trust funds. You said you need $600. Who is this? My name is Luke Reynolds. And I got your message by mistake. But I'm glad I did. Luke Reynolds. That name sounded familiar. Really familiar. Victoria's brain was too tired to place it. Mr. Reynolds, I appreciate the offer but I can't take money from a stranger. That was meant for my landlord. I'm mortified you saw that. Please just delete it and forget. What if I told you I could solve all your problems? Not just the $600. All of it. Then I'd say that's either too good to be true or you're some kind of scammer. Luke laughed. Actually laughed. Smart. That's good. You should be suspicious. But I'm neither. I'm serious. And I'd like to help. Why would you help a complete stranger? Because I can. Because your message was honest and desperate and real. And because, he paused. When's the last time someone helped you, Victoria? The question hit harder than it should. When was the last time someone helped? Not her parents who disowned her when she got pregnant. Not Emma's father who disappeared before she was born. Not friends who drifted away when she couldn't afford girls' nights anymore. Victoria Williams had been alone for 4 years. Completely exhaustingly alone. That's what I thought, Luke said softly when she didn't answer. Give me your address. Absolutely not. I'm not a serial killer. Promise. I just want to deliver something. You're a stranger on the phone at midnight asking for my address. Do you hear yourself? Fair point. Okay. Different approach. What's your landlord's actual number? Victoria rattled it off without thinking. Heard typing on the other end. Done, Luke said. Your rent for next month is paid. And the month after. And the month after that. What? No. You can't, that's $3,000. You can't just. I can. I did. Check with your landlord in the morning. It'll be handled. Victoria's heart was pounding. Who are you? Really? Someone who believes the universe put your message in my phone for a reason. Now about that electric bill in the car, and your daughter's medical costs. Stop. Stop. I can't accept this. I don't even know you. Then let's fix that. Coffee tomorrow. 10 a.m. That diner on Maple Street. The one you work at, I'm guessing, based on your message about getting paid on the 8th. How did he Victoria's LinkedIn? Had to be. He'd looked her up, which should feel invasive but somehow didn't. I work the early shift, she said. Then I'll come to you. I'll be the guy who orders coffee and doesn't leave until you agree to let me help. Why? Victoria's voice broke. Why would you do this? What's the catch? No catch. Just coffee. And maybe a chance to do something good in a world that doesn't see enough of it. That's all I'm asking, Victoria. Just coffee. She should say no. Should hang up. Should block this number and pretend none of this happened. But 3 months of rent. 3 months of breathing room. 3 months of not lying awake terrified. 10 a.m., she whispered. I'll be the one in the ugly brown uniform who looks like she hasn't slept in 4 years. I'll see you then. He hung up. Victoria sat staring at her phone. What had just happened? Who was Luke Reynolds? And why did that name sound so familiar? She Googled it. The first result made her drop her phone. Luke Reynolds. 32 years old. CEO of Reynolds Technologies. Net worth estimated at $4.7 billion. Billionaire. Philanthropist. Named one of America's most eligible bachelors 3 years running. That Luke Reynolds. And she'd accidentally sent him a desperate, humiliating text begging for rent money. Victoria wanted to die. Wanted to disappear. Wanted to wake up and discover this was a stress dream. But her phone buzzed with a notification. A confirmation from her landlord's payment portal. 3 months' rent. Paid in full. By Luke Reynolds. She burst into tears. The ugly kind of crying. The kind that hurts. Because someone had helped. A stranger had helped. And Victoria Williams didn't know how to process that. Sleep didn't come that night. Victoria lay in bed staring at the ceiling, alternating between gratitude and shame. By 9 a.m. she'd convinced herself Luke wouldn't show. Rich people didn't keep promises to broke single mothers. This was a weird fever dream or an elaborate prank. But at exactly 10 a.m., a black car pulled up outside the diner. Town car. Driver. The works. And out stepped a man who looked like he'd walked off a magazine cover. Luke Reynolds was tall. Stupidly tall. 6'3" at least. Dark hair styled perfectly. Sharp jaw. Expensive suit that probably cost more than Victoria's entire annual salary. He looked completely out of place in her rundown diner with its cracked vinyl booths and flickering neon sign. Every head in the place turned when he walked in. Victoria's coworker Diane actually gasped. Is that? Yes, Victoria muttered. Don't make it weird. Too late. Everything about this is weird. Luke spotted her immediately. Smiled. Walked over like he owned the place. Maybe he did. For all Victoria knew, billionaires bought diners for fun. Victoria, he said. Not a question. Like he'd known exactly who she was. Mr. Reynolds. Luke. Please. Mr. Reynolds is my father and I have issues with him we don't need to get into right now. Despite everything, Victoria almost smiled. Coffee. And whatever you recommend that won't give me food poisoning. That's a low bar for this place, but I'll do my best. She poured coffee. Black. Brought him the pancake special because it was hard to mess up pancakes. Then stood there awkwardly because Diane was supposed to handle this section, but had mysteriously disappeared to the back. Sit, Luke said, gesturing to the booth across from him. I'm working. Your manager just gave you a break. I asked. You what? Sit. Please. 5 minutes. Then I'll leave and you'll never have to see me again if that's what you want. Victoria sat. Partly because her feet hurt. Partly because billionaires apparently got what they wanted even in rundown diners. You paid my rent, she said. I did. Why? Luke took a sip of coffee. Made a face. This is terrible. I warned you. You did. To answer your question, I don't know exactly. I was working late. Your text came through. And something about it just, he paused. Most people I know would never ask for help. Certainly not from a stranger. They'd rather suffer in silence than admit they're struggling. But you did. You were vulnerable and honest and desperate. And I found that incredibly brave. I thought it was my landlord. Even braver then. Do you know how hard it is to beg? To admit you can't handle everything alone? Most people would rather drown. Victoria looked down at her hands. Cracked nails. Perpetually dry skin from washing dishes. Working hands. I am drowning. Every day. But I have a daughter. And she deserves better than a mother who gives up. Tell me about her. So Victoria did. Told him about Emma. 4 years old. Obsessed with dinosaurs and the color purple. Smart as hell. Funny. Kind. The best thing that ever happened to her mother. Told him about the pregnancy at 22. The father who left. The parents who said she'd ruined her life. About dropping out of college. About every job application that went nowhere because single mother with no degree wasn't what employers wanted. About loving Emma more than anything and hating that love wasn't enough to keep the lights on. Luke listened. Really listened. Didn't interrupt. Didn't offer empty platitudes. Just listened like her words mattered. What do you need? He asked when she finished. Really need. Not just this month. Long term. What would actually change your life? Victoria laughed bitterly. A magic wand? A time machine? Rich parents? Be specific. Fine. I need my degree finished. I was 2 semesters from graduating with an accounting degree. I need stable housing that doesn't smell like mold. I need reliable childcare so I can work normal hours. I need a car that doesn't sound like it's dying. I need health insurance that doesn't bankrupt me every time Emma gets sick. She stopped. I need to not feel like I'm failing every single day. Okay. Finish your degree. I'll cover tuition and expenses. We'll find you better housing. I own several properties that need occupants. You'll live there rent-free until you're on your feet. Childcare will be handled. The car will be fixed or replaced. And health insurance. I'll add you and Emma to my company's plan as a contractor. You'll consult for me. Counting work. From home. Flexible hours. Fair pay. Victoria stared at him. You're insane. I'm rich. There's a difference. You don't even know me. I know you're a good mother. I know you're willing to work 3 jobs to keep your daughter fed. I know you're drowning but still fighting. That's enough. What's the catch? Nobody does this without wanting something. Luke met her eyes. The catch is I'm going to be in your life now. I'm going to check in. Make sure you're okay. Make sure Emma's okay. I'm going to care. And if you're someone who doesn't like people caring, that's going to be uncomfortable. Why? Victoria's voice cracked. Why do you care? You don't know me. Maybe I see something in you that you don't see in yourself yet. Maybe I'm selfish and want to watch someone I helped actually succeed. Maybe I'm doing this for reasons I don't fully understand. Does it matter? Yes. Why? Because people don't help without wanting something. My parents wanted me to be perfect. Emma's dad wanted no responsibility. My landlord wants money. Everyone wants something. What do you want, Luke? He was quiet for a long moment. I want to not feel like my money is useless. I have billions of dollars. Literally billions. And most days it feels completely meaningless. I give to charity. I donate. I fund initiatives. But it's all so impersonal. I wanted, he stopped. I wanted to actually change someone's life. Directly. Personally. And then your text came through. Wrong number. Wrong time. But maybe exactly right. Victoria didn't know what to say. How to process this. A billionaire wanted to help her because he was lonely? Because his money felt meaningless? It sounded insane. Probably was insane. But 3 months of rent was already paid. And Victoria Williams was too exhausted to keep fighting. One condition, she said. Name it. This isn't charity. I pay you back. Every penny. When I'm on my feet and Emma's taken care of and I'm not drowning anymore, I pay you back. Luke smiled. Deal. Though I should warn you, I'm charging 0% interest and giving you approximately 50 years to repay. Deal. They shook hands. His was warm, firm, real. Like this was actually happening. Like Victoria Williams' life was actually about to change. I need to get back to work, she said. Of course. I'll have my assistant contact you about the housing and childcare arrangements. And Victoria. He stood. Thank you. For what? You're the one helping me. For letting me. That took courage too. He left. Just walked out. Got in his town car and disappeared. Victoria stood there staring after him until Diane appeared at her elbow. Girl. What the hell just happened? I have no idea. But she was about to find out. 2 weeks later, Victoria and Emma moved into a townhouse in a neighborhood Victoria couldn't have afforded in her dreams. 3 bedrooms. Updated kitchen. A backyard. A backyard. Emma ran through it screaming with joy while Victoria cried in the bathroom because she'd forgotten what hope felt like. Luke had been true to his word. Tuition paid. Classes starting next semester. Childcare arranged with a lovely woman named Margaret, who lived 2 doors down and treated Emma like her own grandchild. The car was fixed. New tires. New brakes. Running like it was brand new. And the consulting work. Luke sent her actual accounting projects. Real work. Fair pay. Flexible hours that worked around Emma's schedule and Victoria's classes. It wasn't charity disguised as work. It was actual legitimate employment. He checked in every few days. Just texts. How's Emma? How are classes? Do you need anything? Never pushy. Never invasive. Just there. Present in a way Victoria hadn't experienced in years. After a month she asked him to dinner. To say thank you. To try to explain gratitude that had no words. He said yes immediately. They met at a nice restaurant. Not too fancy. Luke wore jeans and a button-down. Victoria wore her nicest dress, which still wasn't nice, but he didn't seem to notice. They talked for 3 hours. About everything. His childhood with absent parents who cared more about money than him. Her dreams of being an accountant because she liked when numbers made sense. His company. Her classes. Emma's obsession with stegosauruses. Can I ask you something? Victoria said over dessert. Always. Why me? Really? You could help anyone. You could donate millions to organizations that help single mothers. Why did you personally get involved with one random woman who texted you by mistake? Luke was quiet. Then, my mom was a single mother. For a while. Before she married my father. And she used to tell me about that time. How hard it was. How alone she felt. How people judged her. And she said, his voice got rough. She said the only reason she survived was because one person helped. One person saw her struggling and actually did something. And I always wondered if I'd have the courage to be that person if I got the chance. And then I texted you. And then you texted me. Wrong number. Right time. Right person. I don't know. Maybe I'm just selfish and wanted to feel like I matter beyond my bank account. You matter, Victoria said quietly. To me. To Emma. You changed our lives. That matters. Luke looked at her. Really looked. You're extraordinary. You know that. I'm a broke single mother who begged for rent money. You're a woman who's been fighting alone for 4 years and never gave up. Who loves her daughter more than anything. Who's working 3 jobs and going back to school and still finds time to smile. That's extraordinary. Victoria felt her face flush. You're just saying that because you helped me and want to feel good about it. I'm saying it because it's true. Luke reached across the table, took her hand. Can I take you out again? Properly. A date. Not a thank you dinner. Just us. You want to date me? Victoria's voice came out shocked. Why do you sound surprised? Because you're a billionaire and I'm me. You're Victoria. That's all I care about. She should say no. Should keep this professional. Should remember the power imbalance and the money and the fact that they'd only known each other a month. Should be smart. But Victoria Williams had been smart and careful and responsible her entire life. And where had it gotten her? Drowning and alone. Maybe it was time to be reckless. Yes, she said. I'd like that. Luke's smile was worth every moment of uncertainty. They dated. Slowly. Carefully. Luke never pushed. Never assumed. Paid for dinners but listened when Victoria insisted on splitting sometimes. Met Emma and got down on the floor to play dinosaurs without being asked. Respected boundaries. Showed up. Was present in ways Victoria had thought only existed in movies. 3 months in, Emma asked if Luke was her daddy. Victoria panicked. Luke handled it perfectly. I'm not your daddy, Emma. But I'm your friend. And I'm your mom's friend. Is that okay? Emma considered this. Can friends teach me about business stuff? Absolutely. Okay. You can be my friend. 6 months in, Victoria finished her first semester. Dean's List. Luke bought her flowers and took her and Emma out to celebrate. Told her he was proud. Meant it. 8 months in, they were at Luke's penthouse. Emma was asleep in the guest room they'd converted into her space. Victoria and Luke were on the balcony overlooking the city. I'm falling in love with you, Luke said. No preamble. Just truth. Victoria's breath caught. That's terrifying. I know. What if I'm just grateful? What if I can't separate the help from the feelings? Can you? Victoria thought about it. Really thought. About the way her heart jumped when Luke texted. About missing him when he traveled. About Emma asking when Luke was coming over. About feeling like herself, really herself for the first time in years. No, she admitted. I'm falling for you too. The you who helps and the you who plays dinosaurs and the you who drinks terrible coffee without complaining. All of it. Then stop overthinking. Let yourself fall. I'll catch you. Promise. Promise. She kissed him. He kissed back. And Victoria Williams let herself feel something she thought was lost forever. Hope. Real, genuine, terrifying hope. A year after the wrong number text, Victoria graduated. Top of her class. Job offers from 3 firms. She chose the one with the best work-life balance because Emma mattered more than prestige. Luke was in the audience. Next to Emma, who was wearing a princess dress and holding a sign that said, "My mom is smart." They cheered louder than everyone else combined. That night, after Emma was asleep, Luke got down on one knee in Victoria's townhouse that wasn't really hers but felt like home anyway. I know this is fast. I know we met in the weirdest way possible. I know there's a million reasons to wait. But I also know I love you. I love Emma. I love the life we're building. And I don't want to wait anymore. Marry me. Not because I helped you. Not because of money or obligation or gratitude. But because I can't imagine my life without you in it. Victoria was crying. You're sure? Really sure? Because I come with a lot. A daughter. Student loans I'm paying back despite your protests. A history. Baggage. I'm sure. I've never been more sure of anything. Then yes. Absolutely yes. They got married 3 months later. Small ceremony. Just family and close friends. Emma was the flower girl and took her job very seriously. Luke's parents attended and were surprisingly wonderful. Told Victoria they'd never seen their son this happy. That she was good for him. That Emma was a blessing. Victoria's parents didn't come. She'd invited them. Sent a letter explaining everything. How she'd survived. How she'd built a life. How she'd found love. They sent back a card that said congratulations but nothing else. It hurt. But less than it would have before. Because Victoria had built a new family. One that chose her. Wanted her. Loved her. The reception was in Luke's penthouse. Fancy but warm. Emma ran around making friends with everyone. Luke's friends toasted to the couple who met through a wrong number text. Victoria's classmates celebrated her success. And in the middle of it all, Victoria looked around and realized something. She wasn't drowning anymore. Wasn't struggling. Wasn't alone. She'd built a life. A real full beautiful life. With a partner who saw her. A daughter who thrived. A career she'd earned. A future that didn't terrify her. All because she'd sent a desperate text to the wrong number. All because Luke Reynolds had decided to answer instead of delete. All because sometimes the universe puts exactly the right message in exactly the right hands at exactly the right time. What are you thinking about? Luke asked, pulling her close for a dance. About wrong numbers. And right timing. And how grateful I am that I was too tired to double-check who I was texting. Best mistake you ever made? Best mistake we ever made. They danced. Emma joined them, standing on Luke's feet like fathers did with daughters in movies. They were a family. Messy and unexpected and absolutely perfect. Later that night, Victoria looked at her old phone. The one she'd used to send that first text. She'd saved the message. Kept it as a reminder. Mr. Peterson, this is Victoria from apartment 3B. I know rent is due soon and I'm so sorry but I'm short this month. Emma's been sick and I had to take her to urgent care and the copay wiped out what I'd saved. I get paid on the 8th. Please. Just one more week. I promise I'll pay everything. I've never been late before. Please. And Luke's response. Who is this? 2 words that changed everything. Victoria opened a new message. To Luke's number. The one she knew by heart now. Typed. Wrong number. Right person. Best mistake of my life. I love you. He responded immediately. Best mistake of mine too. Love you more. Victoria Williams had spent years drowning. Fighting. Surviving. Alone. And then one desperate text to the wrong number had pulled her to shore. Had given her a partner who chose her every day. Had shown her that sometimes help comes from the most unexpected places. That vulnerability isn't weakness. That asking for help is the bravest thing you can do. And that billionaires who answer wrong number texts at midnight might just be guardian angels in expensive suits. She went to bed that night in Luke's arms, Emma asleep down the hall, and thought about how close she'd come to not sending that text. How shame had almost stopped her. How pride had nearly won. But desperation had pushed her forward. And desperation had saved her life. Not the money. Not the houses or the car or the tuition. Those things helped. But what really saved her was being seen. Being valued. Being loved exactly as she was. Broken, struggling and terrified and still fighting. Luke had given her resources. But more than that, he'd given her hope. Had shown her she was worth more than her bank account. Worth more than her mistakes. Worth investing in. Worth loving. And Victoria Williams had learned that sometimes the best things in life come from the biggest mistakes. From wrong numbers sent at midnight. From desperate texts to strangers. From being vulnerable enough to ask for help. She'd learned that drowning isn't permanent. That struggling isn't forever. That help exists if you're brave enough to ask for it. And she'd learned that love, real love, doesn't come with conditions. Doesn't care about bank accounts or past mistakes or how many jobs you work. Real love just shows up. Stays. Chooses you every single day. That's what Luke had done. Shown up. Stayed. Chosen her. Every single day. And Victoria chose him back. Every single day. Not because of what he'd given her. But because of who he was. Patient. Kind. Present. Someone who saw the best in her when she couldn't see it herself. They built a life together. Not perfect. Real. With struggles and adjustments and learning curves. With Emma growing up calling Luke Dad because he'd earned it. With Victoria's career taking off. With Luke learning that partnership meant compromise. With both of them figuring out how to be a family. It wasn't a fairy tale. It was better. Because it was real. Earned. Chosen. And it all started with a wrong number text sent by a desperate single mother who'd finally been brave enough to ask for help. If this story made you believe that help can come from unexpected places, that wrong numbers might be right timing, that asking for help is strength not weakness, drop a comment with your own wrong number moment. When did a mistake turn into a blessing? When did desperation lead to hope? Share your story. Let's remind each other that drowning isn't permanent. That struggling isn't forever. That help exists. And hit that subscribe button for more stories about ordinary people and extraordinary kindness. About billionaires who answer texts from strangers. About single mothers who refuse to give up. About love that shows up when you least expect it. Because Victoria Williams sent a text to the wrong number. And it saved her life. Your story might be one message away from changing too. Keep fighting. Keep asking. Keep hoping. The right person might be waiting to answer.